Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Great. Jesse Peterson.
Ashten, Sommer, nice to meet you.
Ashten, go ahead and come in, have a seat. We appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today.
Of course, yeah, thanks for meeting with me as well.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Great.
Yeah?
It's been a good day.
A good day, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So I just wanted, so you've been like kind of briefed on the background of this negotiation issue, right?
Absolutely.
A little bit, yeah.
Absolutely. I know that both companies have already done a lot, and so now they bring in the professionals to tie up the loose ends. Isn't that how it goes?
Yep, usually. Okay. So I was just wondering to start off, so I'm assuming you've been involved with this business for quite some time, and your business has done a lot with other locations. I'm wondering, like, with the option of going so many different locations, why are you interested in taking the time to work this out with us? Do you want, is there a specific reason you want to work with Hawkins or in this specific location? Just wondering, why you're interested.
Sure. And it's Ashten, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, Ashten, I'll just let you know that we have not yet opened the location in the Massachusetts area. So I know that our research team has done some data and found that this would be the next best location to start opening up, and almost kind of like a guinea pig location. If this goes well, maybe we'll open up some other locations throughout Massachusetts. So I would say that obviously I was not probably the one who picked exactly Hawkins, but I know that there was other people that were involved with that decision making, and the reason that I'm sitting across from you now is because other people believed in your guys' company and realized that it would be a good partnership. So that's definitely why we're here right now.
Good. Yeah. I just want to say we're really interested in working with you guys and hoping this works out. You seem like a great company to get as our anchor tenant in this mall before we can get going. One thing that our biggest concern right now is getting financing for the mall, which with the Article 22, which was proposed with your standard lease form, we won't be able to get financing from our lenders. So that's our biggest concern right now. So I know it's your standard form, and I was wondering if in the past you've had, when you've gone into a location, if the satellite tenants have had issues with your having as much flexibility as you can with the location, being able to sublet it and all that, because our concern is that the satellite tenants won't want to go into business here for fear of you becoming a major competition for them or something like that. So have you had issues with that in the past locations that you've noticed?
Right. So actually, I totally understand where you're coming from, and if I were in your exact position, I think I'd be worried about the same thing. Here you guys are about to undertake a really big project, and the prospect of having satellite tenants that aren't going to want to move in or are going to have conflict would totally be something I'd be absolutely worried about. Let me just ease your concerns and let you know that in all of the other 200 locations that we have throughout the nation, we really haven't had a lot of issues in. And I think that the satellite tenants have actually found quite a bit of security in being in a similar location with us, because they know that we're going to put forth the fantastic advertising campaigns and always have the products that are going to keep foot traffic coming through, and almost free advertising for them, just to make sure that people are walking by their stores every day. So far from being an issue, I think it's more of a security for them, knowing that they're going to be in the mall with a discount marketplace.
Okay. So do you guys have any concern? What are your main concerns with our agreement right now? Just so I know.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that it was either yesterday or the day before that I received an email about you guys' counter article that I guess you guys were proposing to replace the original Article 22. As I was just reading through, that's kind of not feasible for our company. If you can kind of put yourself in my location for a second, if I were to go back to the board of directors for our quarterly meeting and say, we've got all of the 200 stores totally on par, all the contracts are totally on the same page, but we have this one location in Boston that wants a completely different article that kind of opposes everything that we're about, which is growth and flexibility to stay up with the market and keep current. You can see it's going to be quite a big,
completely understand that.
Right, a big issue for us.
So our biggest concern really is that the lenders aren't going to want to take the risk. They see it as a big risk, that Article 22. So we won't be able to get financing with that proposed article. So I'm hoping we can come to a different agreement, maybe between those two proposed articles, moving forward.
Okay.
That sounds like something maybe.
Absolutely, I totally see that. Now, what is the biggest issues that you guys are seeing with the lenders? I mean,
so just that if with the Article 22 you'd have the ability to make any changes to that space that you would want. So basically the only protection we have is through the general zoning of that area and through like environmental issues. But we have no control over those, so we feel like we are just giving you like a free run of the place kind of a thing. So we, with the satellite tenants, we feel that they'd be concerned with if you decide to implement new products and stuff that are going to be direct competition with them and then take their customers, or that if you sublet the area, like split it off into different sections with different tenants of your choosing, it'll change the whole character of our mall kind of, which we don't want to do that. And it could potentially change like the whole look of the mall as well, and we don't want that. And we want to be able to have a say in what happens. And with Article 22, we wouldn't have a say. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, when I was a kid, my grandpa used to always tell me this. He would say, "Don't let the tail control the dog." And I think that kind of applies in this situation. Mm-hmm. I definitely don't want us to have to get bound up with this idea that the smaller satellite tenants, who are definitely quite a bit of a smaller portion completely of the mall, would be in any way sort of controlling the dog, which would be the discount marketplace, who is kind of the main attraction and is keeping people flowing through the mall. So I just wouldn't want us to get caught up in kind of that mindset or that idea, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to. The other, like the biggest issue still is just the lenders aren't wanting to take that risk of us not being able to have a say in what happens with the land, and you guys being able to just do whatever you'd like with it. So like if we could find a way to make like appease the lenders a little bit, Hawkins would be willing to move forward with it.
Okay.
Like, we're not too concerned with the whole letting you guys have a little bit of say in what happens in the space you're leasing. We're just mostly concerned with getting the financial backing.
Awesome. That's fantastic to hear, and obviously, I mean, tell me this, just because we've worked with a lot of financiers in the past, and a lot of them have also found, security in the clause as well. Just knowing that, as the professionals in retail, we're going to be doing our professional best to make sure that things are going well. Obviously, they are professionals at making sure that people get money and making sure that people are making payments, and you guys are professionals at finding people to occupy your space and making it an appealing location, and the loans won't, or whatever things are like that. And so kind of thinking along those same lines, as long as everyone is doing their best, what do you think their main here's what we can do, and something we've done in the past. If their main concern is that someone else will come in with, well, you tell me what their main concern is. I'm struggling just knowing exactly where to pinpoint this concern.
I just think they think it's a risk that with letting you guys sublet or change their business a little bit, that it could potentially like ruin the business of the mall and that it won't do well. So I think they just find that as a risk.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I mean, something we can do there is maybe put like a category clause that excludes certain categories, maybe like call center, furniture stores, other places like that don't have high traffic, just to give them the peace of mind that they know. I mean, obviously, we've never done anything like that in the past, and we don't plan on doing it. It's not like we're gonna bring in the circus tomorrow or anything like that. I know that sometimes people have some pretty scary ideas of what's going to happen with the signing, but that's definitely something that we're never going to do.
Okay. So maybe I think maybe we could appease the lenders with putting in something like that in the clause that certain categories you couldn't do. Does that make sense? Yeah. And you guys would be willing to look into that?
Absolutely. I think that's not an issue. I'll have my writers draft that up, just a clause that excludes certain categories. I mean, if there's certain categories that you guys are worried about that are pretty specific, we can include that.
I'll definitely talk to some other people in my business and get back to you, and we can work out some categories and see if that'll work. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. One other issue that I wanted to address with you before we ended today was just it'd been brought to my attention when I was being briefed on the case that they'd originally agreed on a 25-year lease, which not sure exactly who in the company did that because it's typically not our standard at all.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, what we normally do is more of a 5-year lease. We found that it works a lot better as that initial contract, just to start out with 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And after we have some confidence in the area and we know that it's going to go well, then we can move on from there and re-sign whatever kind of leasage. But on that odd chance that for some reason it's just not a good place for us, we have an out.
Mm-hmm.
So typically we go with more of a 5-year.
Yeah. That makes sense. I am not sure who made that decision either, and who was working together when that was made. But I was going into this meeting. I was told that I wouldn't be changing anything that's already been agreed upon. So if you'd like to discuss that more, I'd have to talk to the people who made that decision and get back to you. Does that make sense?
It definitely does.
Because I just don't know if I'm at liberty to go changing that
Sure.
here today.
I assumed with your position in the company that you would be able to change whatever
Mm-hmm.
previous things needed to be changed to move forward, but maybe I was under the wrong impression.
Yeah.
So.
Well, just going into this specific meeting, we were just going to talk about that one issue, but I'd have to get back to some other people to figure that out first with the time period.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be something we need to resolve before we're able to move forward, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just have to discuss it with some others, but I'm sure we'd be willing to discuss that and work it out, just so you feel more comfortable with the time period of the lease.
Okay. Definitely. Yeah, that wouldn't be an issue at all. Awesome.
Okay. That's fine.
Well,